Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I want to do is I want to actually show and some of the evidence I've uncovered over the years into the JFK assassination, and I want to point out some facts as well. And I got a couple more emails this morning. I just got done making a video earlier about a new discovery, but people keep on telling me I need to stop pushing my lies. I need to stop posting and my videos. I need to stop showing things that supposedly I made up. Okay. But, like I said, one, I never took the films or images. Okay. Mary Mormon took her image. Okay. Mrs. Pruder took his film. Orville Nix took his film. Bronson Film took his film. And so on and so on and so on. They was the ones that captured all of this evidence. Okay, I just came along and analyzed the films and images and stuff like that and pieced it all together to show what really took place that day. That's all I've done. Okay, and when I went to Dallas, there's a lot of questions that I had, that I wanted to get answers for and find the evidence to back it up. You know, that's all I've done. You know, because just like when I left the comments off, because people were sitting there putting other people down and stuff like that, saying bad words to them and everything else. People gets upset about that. It's like no matter which way I turn, no matter which way I do, no matter what I say, it upsets somebody. And like I said, I don't make my videos to upset people. I don't present the evidence that I uncovered to get people upset. I present the evidence of stuff because this is what the films and images shows us. And all I did was, piece it all together. Let me show you something. Okay, I pointed out there was two gunmen inside of shelter number 3. Okay, in the Mary Mormon photo, which we could see them with the rifles in their hands. Okay, Mary Mormon took this image, not me. She did. These gunmen were there. Now, like I said, before I even brought this information out, I wanted to make sure I had evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence on top of evidence, to make sure. Okay, just like the first shot that I found, as I pointed out, was in frame 40 of the Orville Nix film. See a shot being fired from the side of the shelter. And then I go back trace, you know, on the frames and stuff, and then I find a fatal headshot coming from uh, the window of the shelter. Okay, that was the fatal headshot to JFK. Because this shot here lines up to Governor Conley. This was where I made my first discovery on a location, a look in other films and images to see if there was gunmen in that location. Okay, it was the Orville Nix film that pointed the location of the shelter out to me. It wasn't the Mormon photo or any other images or anything. It was this film here, the Orville Nix film. So when I had a specific location look at now, because remember, everybody's sitting there concentrating on the picket fence area, but there's no evidence to pinpoint exactly where out on picket fence. So I started when going over films and images and stuff, and I started marking down people's locations and stuff. And then I'm finding a specific location, which is the shelter here. So I knew a location. So after I found this in the Orville Nix film, I said, well, let's go ahead and look into other films and images and see if anybody captured it. So I came across the Mary Mormon photo. Well, I knew from the Orville Nix film that there were shots being fired from this location. Okay, so I wanted to look in this location in her image to see if there was anybody in this location. And as you see here, we have a gunman here and his rifle sticking out, and a gunman right here and the rifle sticking us out. So it's like, okay, well, the Orville Nix film shows me 2 shots coming from shelter number 3. Well, the Mary Mormon photo just backed that up, okay? Because if these gunmen was not seen in the Mary Mormon photo, then I would sit there and say, well, wait a minute, it could be marks in the film. I'm going to double check it and everything else. Then when I look into the Bronson film and find the shots being fired from that location, okay, I was like, well, now I got the Bronson film fire, shots being fired from that location, over mixed films, shots being fired from that location. And then we have the Mormon photo showing 2 gunmen inside that shelter. But I still didn't bring it out yet. And as you see, here's a close-up right here. Here's a close-up from the Orville Nix film, frame 40. You can see the gunman taking his shots and firing his rifle. Same thing we see in frame 26. We see the gunman's right here. We see the gunman here. We see the rifle right here. We see the rifle fire, sparks, and smoke trail. Okay, we see this. This is in the Orville Nix film. Then when I look at the Darnell film, which shows the side view of the shelter, and all of a sudden I'm seeing, hey, here's a gunman still aiming his rifle on his left side. Now, then after I'd done that, I went ahead and said, well, let's, line all this up and match it up and make sure everything is lining up. So I went ahead and took this image here, this image here. Okay, here's the shot being fired. And here is the side view. And it's like, okay, well, this gunman here on the side of the shelter now, on the side of the shelter, took a shot. Well, he's aiming his rifle from his left side. Well, in the Orville Nix film, we can see him firing his rifle from his left side. So this backs up one another. And just like I said, the Mormon photo backs it up, those guys there as well. Okay, this would be the image right here that I put together. See right here. He's aiming from his left side. He's firing from his left side. So I went ahead and lined these frames up with the Zapruder film to see where these bullets make contact with. And then come to find out that this frame here lines up with frame 313 of the Zapruder film, where JFK was shot in the right side of the head, which was the fatal headshot. And then frame 40 lines up with frame 330 of the Zapruder film, which we can see the bullet impact in the back of Governor Connolly's back as he was turning off to his left, as he says. So see, his story is matching what we're seeing in the films and images. So you see, all I did was come along and piece everything together. Okay? Now, people has a problem and says, well, that structure is 10 feet high or 20 feet high, and them guys have to be 12 feet tall and stuff. When I go to Dallas, I go to that shelter. Okay, I position the man where that he can actually take a clear shot out of this window right here, because this is where the fatal headshot was fired from to JFK. Okay, we did that. See what I'm saying? We even gave you this position that they could have been standing at, or we even, looked at another possibility, which would be this position right here. Okay. There's different possibilities on how he was looking out and took his shot out of this window here. Okay, there's a lot of possibilities there. All right, just like when I went, like I said, when I also went to Dallas. Okay, never been marked down or something. We see the lady and the man hits the ground. He jumps up and he starts looking this way, standing this pillar here. So we go to that location because we wanted to see what he was looking at, and this is what he was looking at, the shelter. So see, everything's pinpointing everything back to that shelter. But everybody wants to get on me because I point this out and because I show these images and I present these images, and especially when I sit there and say, this is facts or this is evidence. They come at me and says, oh no, this is just a theory. This is just a theory. This is just, everything's a theory to everybody. It's always a theory to a lot of people out there, especially on the conspiracy side. Everything's a theory. Okay, but it's not a theory, it's called a fact. Because if you got an image of somebody shooting a rifle at somebody and you see the person taking that shot and you see the person where the bullet impacted to that person, that's called evidence. It's called photographic evidence, as I point out to people. Just like when I sit there and said, for years people's talking about this, for years that people talked about, is there any evidence to show there was other shots fired that day? Okay, was there other shots fired that day? Well, I sit there and I present evidence from the Zapruder film. The Zapruder film shows 2 bullets striking the concrete of the manhole cover on the side and on the top corner, and a bullet ricocheting outward. So to get more evidence to back that up, so what I did was look for more evidence, and here's what I find. I find this image here of the police officer right here. There's the manhole cover. He's trying to figure out direction where the shots came from. We have another image that's taken right here. Okay, and he's looking right at that bullet hole right here. We have another image taken right here. where we can see the tip of the bullet lying in the grass that this guy here is about to retrieve. And then we zoom in on that location, and here's what we see. So up here somewhere, this is what we see right here. We see the bullet lying in grass. We do a close-up. There's a bullet. There's a 30.06 bullet laying in the grass. We know that something happened there because why would they take an image of that same manhole cover that very night of the assassination? Something happened there. Okay, all I did was come along and piece it together. Then when I go to Dallas, okay, we look at that manhole cover. Okay, we were, doing testing there, as you see right here. We take a laser pointer and we point it back to where this shot came from. And as you see, it lines right back to the rooftop of the county records building, as you see right here, because there's a laser pointer. We had it up here, but it goes into the clouds and stuff like this, so we had to bring it down a little bit so we know where the location is in this vicinity right here. Okay, because I sit there and I tell people, in this Pruder film, we can see a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. His reflection. We can see him in motion coming down, taking a shot, aiming and taking a shot. Okay, we see this in the Zapruder film. In 1975, there was somebody found working on the rooftop of the county records building, found a bullet casing, a 30.06 bullet casing, and we see the bullet, 30.06 bullet, lying in the grass. Then while we was there, I was like, okay, well, we'd have the curve shot they marked down. So where did that curve shot come from? Did it come from Oswald or whatever? So we looked at it and says, well, okay, the curve shot happened right here. If you watch my cursor, curve shot happened right here because James Tagg was standing right here. Here's a bullet hole and here's a bullet hole here from the gunman on rooftop of County Records building. So we know who took that shot. The gunman on rooftop of County Records building, because this is all in the same line of fire. You see what I'm saying? I present evidence, photographic evidence, of things that's always been in front of the public's eye. Just like once you find the stuff, okay, just like people says, well, how can you prove there was a distance? Okay, well, look at this for a moment. When we're going to get distance, okay, let's take this as my distance chart, and we're going to go right here. We'll pull this image up right here, okay, which this right here shows where their smoke trails were that people's pushing out there. It was in this location here because we can see it's right above the Newman's heads. But anyway, we're going to do this for a moment. Okay, now we know the fatal headshot came from shelter number 3. So what we do is we measure a distance from shelter number 3 right here, if you watch my cursor, and then we measure from here to here. And that's the distance we get. The assassin was 71.70 feet or 22.90 yards away when he took his shot. Because once you get a location of where those gunmen were and you pinpoint the location of where the shots occurred, okay, all you got to do is measure from that building to the location where that bullet made impact with. Then you have your distance, just like the gunman on a rooftop of the county records building. Okay, which I'll zoom in. Let me go ahead, if I can zoom in. No one let me zoom in right now. But anyway, here, if you watch my cursor, there's a corner of the rooftop of the county records building. Okay, we know he took a shot to manhole cover, so we're going to measure from this point here to the manhole cover, which is exactly right here. Okay, we're going to go to the top corner one, right to here. So we're going to know that's shot number 9. So he was 378.8 feet away, 379.8 feet away, or 126.32 yards from this point here to this point here. So see, this is how we got the distance, because once you get that location of the gunman and you pinpoint where the shots make contact with, and you go right back to that location, that's how you get this evidence. This is how you get the information. Okay, like I said, all I did was analyze films and images, and all I did was just piece it together. Okay, I just pieced it together, as you see right here. Oops. All I did was piece this information together. That's all I've done. But I got people on me for presenting this evidence, and they're saying it's not evidence, it's just a theory. Okay, we could see this with our own eyes. Okay, just like the bullet holes, we could touch, we could prod it, we could feel it, These are things that's evidence been always in front of the public's eye. All I did was come along, analyze the films and images, and see what we see in the films and images you know, the gunman taking her shots and everything else. And all I did was just piece it together, as you see here. Just like the 2 shots in manhole cover. Okay, this Zapruder film shows the bullets striking air and ricocheting upward. Okay, here's the location of that manhole cover. Yes, there's 2 bullet holes in that manhole cover. We have images taken on the same day of the assassination of Secret Service agents, police officers, and everything else in that location of the manhole cover, retrieving bullets from that location. We know there was a bullet casing found, in 1974, not 1975, but 1974, on a rooftop of the county records building. Okay, and then we have the image of the manhole cover taken that night. And then we have this Zapruder film showing the reflection of the gunman coming down, taking aim, and firing his rifle from this location. So see, that's just piecing it together. This is what the films and images shows us, and we just piece it together. Just like right here. Okay, same thing here. You know, the 2 gunmen on the grassy knoll. Okay, the Mary Mormon photo shows us 2 guys inside shelter number 3 with rifles in their hands. The Orville Nix film shows 2 shots being fired from that location. The Darnell film shows a side view of that location, and we can see one of the gunmen still aiming his rifle. The Bronson film shows us 2 shots come from the shelter. These are what these films and images show us, because the Bronson film is backing up the Nix film. Nix film is backing up the Mormon photo. The Mormon photo is backing up the Nix film and the Bronson film. You know, and so on and so on and so on. It backs it all up. Okay? All I did was come along, found this evidence, piece it together, and present it to the public, because they need to know this information. Just like when they sit there said the badge man for years. People's pushed this badge man for years and years and years, but nobody took the time out and took 2 minutes, as I point out, 2 minutes of their time to show, well, okay, now let's go to the location of the badge man. Well, he couldn't take that shot, could he? Because there's a location. We're standing exactly in the location where this badge man's at. We take an image. You can't even see from this point here to this point here, you can't even see the road. And JFK was shot along in here. So see, that eliminates the badge man. Okay, that eliminates that badge man, because you're giving that information out. Just like people sit there says that Jack Ruby was snuck in the back way and did this and did that, did this and did that. You know, when he came in and shot Oswald, you know, they snuck him in the back door and all this other stuff. Even though when they portray it in the Oliver Stone movie, JFK. We went to Dallas and we did testing on it. As you see right here, here's my son, and this is my nephew. This is my son Joshua. This is my nephew Timothy, and this is my son Joshua. He was portrayed as Jack Ruby. Okay, he was coming out of the Western Union where it was at that time in 1963, and we was doing timing. Okay, here's me, my son Jesse. This is Jesse. Here's me. We're filming it. That walk. Now I'll present in my documentary the time frame on that, but you know, you're going to find a lot. That's what I said. When I went there, I did a lot of testing and stuff, and it's going to be in the documentary, and you're going to be surprised. Okay, you're going to be surprised and say, well, you know, I can see this now, you know, because what I'm trying to do in this documentary is put everything together in perspective for the people, so this thing, everything be properly documented. Like I said, for years, no one knows what he was looking at. Okay, it was never documented. Now we know. It's documented now. He was looking at shelter number 3. Properly documented. Okay, are these actual bullet holes? Right here. Here's one of them. Are these actual bullet holes in the concrete manhole cover? Yes, because it's been properly documented. Properly documented because we can see the film, we can see it be a bullet striking that, and everything else. So see, all I'm doing is presenting what the films and images showing us. Like the babushka lady. I can't help the babushka lady's light. A light comes on underneath the babushka lady. Okay, Mr. Zapruder films this. Okay, Mr. Zapruder films this. But I get a lot of slack from this too as well, because I made a discovery in the Zapruder film that points out the babushka lady turns on a light. So I get slack from that. Okay, which I don't understand. Like I said, you know, people want to sit there and get upset because I present this kind of stuff, because it might, you know, blow away somebody's story or somebody's theory that they've been working on for a long time. Okay, like the picket fence area, a gunman behind a picket fence. Okay, when the evidence by films and images that was taken that day of November 22nd, 1963, shows us the gunman's location and the shots they fired. All right, like the two gunmen inside shelter number 3. Well, it kind of gets everybody upset because the gunman behind the picket fence. Well, James Files says this. Well, James Files, okay, his story was false. Why? Because we could prove this by photographic evidence that we see there that day. He claimed he took that fatal headshot to JFK. He claimed he was behind a picket fence, but there's no evidence to back it up. Just a story. That's what I talk about. People, when I present something, I'm presenting photographic evidence. I said there was two gunmen inside shelter number 3. That's the story. But I present evidence to back it up. Photographic evidence. The Mormon photo, Bronson film, Orville Nix film, Darnell film, Bessner image, testimonies, eyewitness accounts, you know, the Newmans, Mr. Zapruder stuff, all that, the Zapruder film, all this is backing up my story. When James Files says, hey, I was the assassin behind the picket fence, and I used a firebolt, that's a story, because where's the evidence? There is no evidence to back it up. Not one shred of evidence. Okay, just a story. A theory. Just like people, you know, this is not a theory. This is called evidence. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but there's a lot of things people got to understand, okay, when it comes to JFK assassination. Okay, people gets upset because you present something that throws somebody else's story away. Just like a video I made earlier this morning, you know, where someone, you know, AKA Red Crossbow, sent me an image to look over and stuff like that. And I present this new evidence saying, hey, you know, we can see them lifting fingerprints and stuff like, you know, from the boxes and stuff inside the Texas School Book Depository on the day of assassination, which blows that story and that theory of them taking these objects to the morgue where Oswald was at 2 days after the assassination. Okay, that's all I'm doing is presenting this evidence so people know the false stories and the true stories behind this, behind the assassination of JFK. Okay, and you know, you're not trying to step on nobody's toes or anything like that, or anything, but this stuff has to be presented, because if it's not presented, we're still going to follow the same old thing over and over and over and over and over again, because the only thing that's ever changed in this case is everything I'm presenting is starting throwing a wrench in all this other stuff, and that's why I'm getting attacked left and right, because people don't want me to present this kind of evidence. They tell me to take my videos down. They tell me to stop showing my evidence. They send me emails and stuff, says I need to stop doing this and stop saying this and stop saying that and presenting this and presenting that, because all I'm doing is work with theories and stuff. It's not true and all this other stuff. Or this has been altered, that's been altered, or this has been added into it, that's been added to, or you add this into it, or that added into it. Just like I show people, hey, there's nothing I added in any of these films or images, because one, I wasn't alive when this stuff happened, and two is I presented this evidence as well off the net, which you can find on the net. Remember Mormon photo, you can find off the net, and you can see the two gunmen right there. Okay, the Zapruder film, I showed, there's a video I got, has a site there, you can get a copy of the Zapruder film, and you'll see these shots, and these, now pinpointed the frames and stuff like that, which you can see it all. It's always been there. It's always been in front of the public's eye. I just want to make this video here to point out some facts, you know, and, you know, like I said, I get tired of people. If you don't agree with my research, that's fine and dandy. You don't want to watch my videos, that's fine and dandy. You don't want to buy my book or anything else like that, that's fine and dandy. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when I keep on sitting there getting these emails from people sitting there saying, telling me, okay, this is, I thought this was America, you know, where you have freedom of speech. You know, I'm allowed to present whatever I want to present. Okay, I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. You know, because of that. But I got people sit there and tell me, you know, I need to take my videos down. I need to stop pushing my book. I need to stop pushing this evidence here because it's not evidence. It's just a theory and stuff like that. Well, everything that I present, I have evidence to evidence, 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 evidence to back up everything I say. You see what I'm saying? That's what I have. But like I said, this evidence has always been in front of public's eye. Now, if probably somebody else brought it out and stuff like that, maybe they get a good, you know, they probably sit and say, oh yeah, well, we're going to listen to this person because this person has a PhD, or this person has this, or this person has that. So if they would have found it, Okay, it'd have been all right. It'd been, you know, it'd have been like the Holy Grail if they found it. But somebody like me, a typical man, you know, living a typical life, you know, in poverty and everything else, I find something like this, and it's like, oh no, he's just doing this for this, he's just doing that for that. When all I'm doing is presenting what's always been in front of the public's eye. I think we just talked it long enough. So, in the description down below, you find a site where you can own our book, Evidence of Conspiracy, the only book you need in the JFK assassination. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this information with your friends, family, relatives on social medias and stuff so everybody knows this information. Thank you, and y'all have a pleasant, pleasant day.